Testing. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm just quickly going to test out my microphone, just make sure that the sound levels are all good, so bear with me for a minute, but it's okay, we've still got 4 minutes until the race is starting, and still got 4 drivers to actually funnel in, so I'll just sit tight for a moment. I'm just testing whether it's actually better from a distance or a little bit better up close, so bear in mind. Bear with me even. Testing whether it's actually better from a distance or a little bit better up close, so bear in mind. I'm just testing whether it's actually better from a distance or a little bit better up close, so bear in mind. Bear with me. Wow, you can probably hear that in the background. Even so, it sounded a bit like ASMR then, so we're going to try and, first of all, take one headphone out, and secondly, we're going to try and make sure that this is all good. Wow, you can probably hear that in the background. Even so, it sounded a bit like ASMR, so... Wow, that is like an infinite cycle of me talking. Dark373 sounds, she says, sorry, ladies and gentlemen, that I sound beautiful. Well, thank you very much, Adam. I mean, I don't know whether it's like a cheapo mic. Don't know whether, I'm constantly distracted by my own recording, kind of listening it back, but I'm always a bit nervous that my microphone doesn't sound as good as PJ's. I was really hoping it would, but unfortunately, ladies and gentlemen, I think it's not the microphone, it's just the commentator doesn't sound as good as PJ. I don't sound as good as PJ, ladies and gentlemen, and you can't buy talent. And now as we've reached that shocking and depressing conclusion, we're still waiting for a couple of drivers to actually funnel in. I believe Steph hasn't joined yet, and a couple others. Because, well, thank you, Robert DS. Donaldinho, that's very interesting. I have actually realised that your name's Donaldinho on pretty much everything, like Discord and everything. Even so, it doesn't really matter. Steph is in, I don't know what I'm talking about. I'm waiting for 3 more drivers, I don't know who they are. I'm going to quickly go on Discord and do another ping for the 3 drivers who haven't joined in. However, I think a good time to start would maybe be about 5 minutes past. I know that everybody likes starting on the dot, but I wouldn't want anybody to kind of miss out just because they're late by a couple of minutes. And due to the glitch, we don't really like people joining mid-quali. I'd rather just kind of wait for the final 2 gentlemen to join in, rather than making them join mid-quali, because there's a glitch, and I'm not even too sure what it is. Everybody just talks about the glitch of if people join mid-quali, then it can kind of glitch out the session or something. I'm not actually too sure. I haven't experienced it firsthand. One has an issue. Well, it's okay. We'll wait. If it's that whole issue of I can't join in, then well, you just restart the application. That's just F1 2021 being a bit silly. But yeah, it seems like Lem1KSS. Just bear with me, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to try and see what the issue is. So I'll be back in a moment. Ladies and gentlemen, you're probably demanding an explanation as to what's happening. I've just left the session so that one of the new reserves is having an issue with his game and he's not able to join in. And I believe it was a nice job mate suggested that if I quickly leave and somebody else is the host, maybe he's able to join. He's tried closing his application and reloading it, and unfortunately still isn't able to join, so I'm just waiting on Steph to invite me. But this is the moment of the stream in which they all start without me, probably. But I would like Steph to invite me. Oh dear, ladies and gentlemen, I'm completely tied up in cables at the moment, and I don't know if you saw it on my screen, but my controller's actually running out of charge. There's a catch here, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, Justino invited me. Thank you very much, Justino. Hang on a minute, lads. I've been on air for 9 minutes and 34 seconds, according to this. We'll see if this works. Ah, yes, there we go. I'll make sure I'm spectator as well, ladies and gentlemen. I am not making that mistake again. So we've got VPN. I think we've got a 17 car grid. We're waiting for a couple of people. Yeah, what I was just about to say actually is that my controller's running out of battery, but I can only have either my microphone or my controller plugged in because, I know you ready for this, ladies and gentlemen, the PS5 only has one USB-A port on the front. It's got a USB-C port and a USB-A, but I don't have a USB-C to USB-C cable. So it's actually worse than the PS4, because if I was on the PS4, I'd be able to charge my controller and use the microphone at the same time. So if my controller does die halfway through, I'm quickly going to go in and like reduce all of the brightness of the kind of the lights and everything. Hopefully that I'm actually going to do that right now, ladies and gentlemen. Hopefully that kind of lowers the amount that my battery goes down. But controller indicators. Oh, trigger effect intensity, even vibration intensity. Wow, well, I'll turn them all off because they're not going to be using any of that, but the light will be on. I think, ladies and gentlemen, by the way, that we can start. But yeah, what I'm trying to say, before I interrupt myself one more time, might go in funny, that's not good, is I can't... yeah, if my controller dies, I'm going to have to use my old microphone. Well, well, Dark Inferno says that apparently, and by the way, ladies and gentlemen, you can ready up. I'm just going to put ping in the thing. We've got 17 drivers. I don't think we're getting any more. I'm going to put a ping into the chat. Right, hang on. Oh, okay, we are going. To be honest, it's Dark Inferno who knows better than me whether we are starting a race or not. He is the head honcho when it comes to the Virtual Formula League. Switch off your console, unplug your power cable for about 10 to 30 seconds and restart. It worked once before. Sick boy read chat. Oh. Well, there's a lot of people kind of spamming Dino in the chat with an Ali avatar. Not even too sure who Dino... Oh, that's just Dino. JXST Dino. Okay. Go into chat messages. Please just invite me. I mean, look, it's taken quite a while. I remember a lot of people were like, oh yeah, it's Sick Boy's fault, but the lobby still hasn't started. But it really isn't, ladies and gentlemen. As I quickly just check my kind of my controller things or whatever. It really isn't my fault, ladies and gentlemen. Not today. It's kind of the game being a bit glitchy. And honestly, this game, we never really had this with... oh, Dark Inferno is calling it to start. Ladies and gentlemen, we are starting. We have got one more driver in. I believe our last minute entry was Tollop 12. The poor driver who I accidentally... Whoa, do you want to leave this multiplayer session? No, I don't. The unfortunate driver who I accidentally took out in the World Cup, unfortunately, but we won't talk about that one. Even so, ladies and gentlemen, here we are for round 6 of the Virtual Formula League. You see, we haven't been together for quite a long time, watching some VFL racing because of the Christmas break, of course. Our last race was in Jeddah and it was a mad one in Tier 1 and in Tier 2. It was quite crazy. If you actually remember, ladies and gentlemen, that race in Jeddah, I actually participated in it and it was crazy for me. I was taken out quite a few times due to no fault of any other driver. It's just Jeddah being Jeddah, and it's an incredibly difficult track and it punishes every single type of driver. But that's the last time that we were in or at least racing for the Virtual Formula League. The Tier 2 race was quite a bit of carnage as well, and I believe it was actually won by a driver, I'm not too sure who. But even so, ladies and gentlemen, Phil Donald in the chat writes, ladies and gentlemen. Is he taking the mick out of me saying ladies and gentlemen by any chance? Probably. And for that, Justino has just left the session. That's ironic. That these drivers, I do feel for him. I hope that he can join soon. I'm quickly going to send him an invite. But the reason why it's ironic is because at the moment the chat, as you can imagine, is being spammed by some of Dino's friends, I imagine. Absolutely spamming the chat out right now with Dino. So I've just sent him another invite. Hopefully you can get in and have a trouble-free race. Even so, I'm a bit conscious with saying ladies and gentlemen now, but I'm going to say it anyway. Ladies and gentlemen, that was the last time that we were watching races for the Virtual Formula League. Last time that Tier 2 was racing in the Virtual Formula League was round the dreaded Corniche circuit, and it was an absolute mad one. And it was a great race for, I believe it was the United 199. He ended up taking the Williams driver, who is still in the garage right now. He's actually P2 in the championship. He's just left the plane. But last time I checked the championship standings, the top 4 are as follows. You still have Poppy 1195 leading the Tier 2 championship. He's an absolutely incredible driver, Poppy 1195. He's still in the garage. I think he's just leaving right now. But he's an incredible driver, and he's leading by 20 points, and he's definitely going to be in Tier 1 next season. I can almost guarantee it. Then in P2, you actually have a recent promotion up to P2, the United 199. He was down in P3 for a while. It was actually a 1-2 for both Ferrari drivers, because MOC LFC was in P2. Now he's being relegated down to P3. And then in P4 you have the Alfa Romeo driver of Scruff. And we're kind of spectating both Alfa Romeo drivers right now. They are around the same part of the track. You have Tom Taylor. He had an extremely clean turn 1, and he's just had a really strong exit out of turn 3 actually. The hairpin as he approaches turn 4. And turn 4 marks the start of basically the end of sector 2 and the start of sector 3, that incredibly tight middle section of the track. And it's so difficult to really get right. We've got a yellow flag on the final turn. I believe that was just a little bit of traffic. It always does get quite hefty around there. If you remember in the real life F1, there was almost a collision around the final couple of turns due to drivers slowing down. Oh, ladies and gentlemen. Tom Taylor almost invalidates on the final couple of corners, but it doesn't matter. He's the first driver to set a lap today, and it is a 1:04.730. That is an incredibly strong lap from Tom Taylor, especially for Tier 2. I believe he's starting another flying lap right now, as just behind him you have the Mercedes driver of Nice Job Mate leaving the pits. Let's see if he's able to improve his last lap, and it was quite the lap to improve. But it doesn't matter, because he actually is outside of turn 3 and has abandoned his lap. But Phil Donald, the man who hates me saying ladies and gentlemen, so I'm going to say it on purpose just for him, sets the fastest lap. Well, originally it was Tristan with a 1:04.646. Tristan even in the Haas. But Phil Donald beat that even that time with a 1:04.377, and that is an incredibly strong lap. I believe he's on another flying lap right now. He just leaves turn 3 and he tries to get a little bit slipstream off of the Haas driver of Tristan, just in front. And it's quite a strong turn 4. He actually runs quite wide on the exit turn 4, and he hasn't gone for the whole esports strategy, and he oversteers quite a bit on the inside curve of, I believe that was about turn 5 or 6. He's all over the inside curve of turn 7 as he approaches the final 2 turns of turn 8 and 9. It's quite a strong lap for him. I'm not too sure if it's faster than his last, but we shall see as he rounds the final and unfortunately invalidates. He goes too deep on the inside curb, and all 4 wheels end up across the white line. And for Phil Donald, that's his flying lap invalidated, and it's also his next lap invalidated. But I was just mentioned the esports line, and it doesn't seem like many drivers are doing it right now. You see, the esports line is you go all four wheels on the curb on the outside of turn 5, and it's supposed to give you a bit of a shallower entry into turn 5. It's a bit like you have all four wheels on the curb for turn 1 and turn 3 as well, but I haven't seen many drivers do that so far. One driver who we may see do that is actually Steph 10, because he is a tier 1 driver, ladies and gentlemen. But he's recently purchased a wheel, and he's practicing on the wheel in these tier 2 races. So that's why he's kind of handicapped himself enough to be in tier 2. But whilst I'm talking about Steph, nice job, mates. Let's say 104.310, beating his Mercedes teammate by 67 milliseconds. And as it stands right now, ladies and gentlemen, it's a 1-2 for Mercedes. Now, the gentleman in the comments, I keep on reading every single message that he says. Unfortunately, I get distracted. It's just pro Dino kind of propaganda going on right now. Just Dino's still in the garage. I'm not too sure if he's able to rejoin. I'm just quickly going to check Discord to see what the latest is. Oh, I need a new invite. Justino. It says error. Only the host can. Right, I'm just quickly going to invite Dino once again. I did invite him at the start. I've just invited him. I'm not even the host anymore. So the priority right now is to try and make sure that all of the drivers are able to participate in the race. And unfortunately, I can't actually see the track map because of how much of kind of spam right now is happening in the comments. I'm not too sure if there's any way to actually turn off the fact that I get a notification when people are messaging, because unfortunately, at the moment, it's absolute carnage. I'm just quickly going to check. However, just before I do that, let's just quickly watch Nick cross the line. We've been spectating his entire flying lap right now, and it would be a disservice to him to flick off him for the final couple of corners as he rounds turn 9 and onto the main straight. It's a pretty strong 13th position for Pudnick with a 106.030. And whilst I quickly figure out whether there's any way to stop the comments, overlay options, yes there is. Display chat, and we'll pop it in the top right hand corner. I think that's the best place to pop it, so that my mini-map is nice and free. So don't worry, I haven't gotten rid of the chat, I've just popped it into the top right hand corner. Even so, ladies and gentlemen, I know how much you like hearing me say ladies and gentlemen. We've got an interesting qualifying session ahead of us, because if you don't already know, it's going to be an intermediate weather race. For the main race at least, the sprint race will be dry and sunny just as the qualifying is. But the main race is actually going to be in light rain conditions for the majority of the race. It's going to turn dry for around the last quarter. I mean, I did actually do an entire 50% race, I believe it was yesterday actually, and I just to see what lap the weather will change, and for me it was like lap 33 out of 36. It was incredibly late. So the weather's going to change to dry. That's all that matters. Sometime in the last quarter, really, around maybe lap 28 to 33, I would imagine. But before the end of the race, it will be dry, even if it's for one lap. And it's incredibly interesting to see kind of the difference in strategies. We're going to have half the drivers on the grid today using an intermediate setup. They're banking all on the race and not really on the qualifying. We're going to have half of the drivers going for a full dry setup. That means they're going to be incredibly strong in the qualifying race and for the few dry laps at the very end of the race. Not very good in the qualifying. Well, we can only guess what setup the 95 is using. It doesn't really matter, does it, ladies and gentlemen? He's leading the championship by 12 points, and he's demonstrating why, as Phil Donald actually oversteers outside of turn 3. Very unfortunate for Phil Donald, and he's actually kind of doing a bit donuts right now, which his car's extremely dangerously placed for the gentlemen who are going on flying lap. I think the driver to watch right now may even be JKS Racing in the Williams, but what I was saying is that at the 95 pole with a 104.267, extremely strong lap. JKS actually abandons his lap to let the United 199 through, and of course that's why, ladies and gentlemen, the traditional Williams slipstream, JKS Racing punching a hole out for the United 199 to give him that extra little bit of speed on the run down to turn 3. So there's a lot riding on this flying lap for Williams right now. Let's see if the United 199 can hold it together through this twisty middle sector. He hits the apex very well, and he's actually quite sturdy on the exit turn 5, I believe that is, and that's a great turn 6 as well. I believe that was actually turn 7. I'm not actually too sure. Even so, we have the final 2 turns, turn 8 and 9, and he doesn't hit the apex of the corner that well for turn 8. You are actually able to have your front wheel, your inside wheel even, all the way over that inside curb without worrying. And because of that, the United 199 isn't actually able to improve. He's second in the championship right now, but he's only on the 9th grid slot, so that's the 5th row of the grid, I believe. 4th row of the grid even. 5th row of the grid even. For the United 199. Not a good qualifying session so far, but goes for another flying lap. This time without a tow from his teammate, and it'll be interesting to see whether that affects his lap time in any way. So far, ladies and gentlemen, as you can see on the left side of the screen, we have the Ferrari of Pop 1195 currently in provisional pole, with the Mercedes driver of Nice Job Mate rounding up the front row, with Tristan and Phil Donald on the 2nd row, and the 2 Alfa Romeo drivers of Tom Taylor and Scruff, my own team, on the 3rd row. United 199 is heading into the pitch right now. Infamous Aim is on a slow lap, and Gooders has just finished a flying lap. Maybe it could be Steph is the one to look for. I think he's actually running out of fuel. Is this the qualifying in which everyone jumps into the pits? I guess not. Not for Nice Job Mate it isn't, as he reclaims his provisional position of 1195 with a 104.157. These lap times have been getting faster and faster all session, ladies and gentlemen. Sick boy, do something. He can't, he isn't host. I feel like ending it all. This is my best track. I think I call red flag after qualifying and put Dino P10. Oh dear. Yes, I would recommend. So, unfortunately, Justino is not able. I just checked my phone and it's all kind of kicking off in the Discord chat. Justino has obviously been robbed of this session because of a game glitch, so I believe what we're actually going to do is a kind of a session restart after this qualifying. I need to set up the grid for the main race anyway. We're actually going to put Dino into P10, which is a reasonable kind of result for him. I don't know how much backlash that will get from the other drivers, but so far I think the consensus is that Dino will receive P10 for his absence, because it's entirely not his fault. It's the game just being F1 2021, ladies and gentlemen. So hopefully that will kind of mark a beginning of good fortune for Justino, and hopefully you can transfer it into a really good result. We do have a sprint race this weekend as well, and that means that Dino will have another 5 laps to improve his qualifying position as much as possible. Even so, what I was saying is that Nice Job Mate has picked 1195 for position. We've still got just under 5 minutes left in qualifying, and this is a perfect time to quickly check what the Sick Boy Super Lap is for Austria, and it's a 103.628 I was able to set, which is actually about 0.5 of a second faster than what Nice Job Mate has been able to produce. However, I do expect that from Tier 2. Tier 1 drivers have beaten the Sick Boy Super Lap quite often. I don't expect to be some sort of incredible driver. But what is incredible is the fact that Tolu and Taylor have both got the exact same qualifying time of a 104.397. That really is remarkable. And I believe that Tolu has actually been given the P5 position due to kind of alphabetical order alone, even though they both share the same 2 first letters of their PlayStation ID. That really is kind of a freak of nature, the 2 drivers getting the exact same time. Even so, why don't we follow on board with Tristan06 right now. He's in P3 currently, and I'm sure he's looking to improve, because many drivers are actually in the pack right now. Only about half of the pack are out, and It's not looking good for Scruff right now. He's got an MOC LFC right in his way, and he dives into the pits with 3 minutes left. That will be enough to actually do a flying lap just afterwards. Tollop's actually on an outlap, getting a bit of a tow from Tom Taylor. Oh dear. Tristan, we were following his lap for the first half, but unfortunately he's invalidated this and next lap from running wide on the exit of turn 8, because it does give you quite the advantage for the next lap as well. There is a reason why it invalidates the next lap. Well, I'm sure that was a complete accident from Tristan, and unfortunately it's cost him dearly. But Tom Taylor, one of the only drivers on a flying lap right now. We've got a few, but a lot are actually on an out lap, and we've still got a few stragglers still in the pit lane. He was, last time I checked, a few milliseconds down on his fastest lap, and he's dived, or at least he's abandoned his lap. Hopefully he's got enough fuel to be able to do a couple more laps, because we've still got over 2.5 minutes left in the session. So let's watch Tom Taylor's lap right now. He's on 2-lap old soft tyres, and he really is looking to improve. He's quite squirrely on the exit turn 1, gave it a lot of traction, but it seems to have worked quite well. He tries to get a little bit of a tow from who came out the pits, and that is how you do the hairpin of turn 3, ladies and gentlemen. You bang it down to the first or second gear, you give it really low revs, and you just get so much grip on the exit. Last time I checked, he's about half a tenth up. We'll see once he crosses the second sector time. Let's see how well he does in this tight, twisty middle sector. He has to ease off a little bit because it looked like he was about to cross over into the line. He's 0.04 of a second faster than his best time, and that will put him actually quite high up because this is such a tight pack. I think that will put him in P3. But unfortunately he runs wide on the exit of turn 8 and on the exit of turn 9 as well, and that's invalidated his next lap, and that won't give him enough time. Unless he really pushes for 2 laps straight, he won't be able to set another lap time before qualifying is down. Now let's watch Scruff, his Alfa Romeo teammate. He goes slow around turn 9 to get the best possible exit out of turn 9 and the best possible speed throughout the start-finish line. It's an interesting route he actually takes through turn 1 with almost all 4 wheels going on that inside curve. Normally you don't want to do that because it kind of disorients the car. Oh, huge snap of oversteer outside of turn 3. Otherwise that was looking like an incredibly strong lap for Scruff, but unfortunately that is qualifying over, ladies and gentlemen. There's only about 40 seconds, exactly 30 seconds of qualifying left, and that is qualifying over for Scruff. It looks so strong. MOC LFC, he's the next driver to be scrutinised by Sick Boy. And he's in P9 right now, and he's third in the Drivers' Championship. This isn't like MOC. He's really going to want to do a lot better than he is currently, but he runs massively wide on turn 6. And I believe that's qualifying over for MOC. It hasn't quite ended, but he's got a few seconds left. If he pushes... Oh no, unfortunately that is qualifying over for MOC. It's P9 for MOC, and that's best. Some of the drivers in the latter half of the grid may even beat him. What I did miss is the fact that the Mercedes-Benz of Nice Job Mate ended up beating his previous best lap time. He's now set at 104.134, and that has firmly rooted himself into provisional pole. However, the Williams of JKS Racing is on a stormer of a flying lap right now as he goes round turn 9. Let's see if he's able to improve on his best lap time, and it seems like he is. Fortunately, he isn't actually. He's 18 milliseconds slower. How about Infamous Aim in the Aston Martin as Tom Taylor DNS? Infamous Aim is 0.07 of a second faster than his last time. He was slow on the entry to turn 9, but does it matter? Yes, it does, actually. He's ended up improving his lap time by 0.3 of a second as his teammate in Aston Martin, Steph 1210 DNFs, but it isn't enough to actually improve his lap time. And since Pudnik is driving all over the grass and Tulip looks like he's run out of fuel, that's qualifying over, ladies and gentlemen. That is the end of round 6 of the Tier 2 Virtual Formula League. That's it, qualifying over the Austrian Grand Prix. We have Nice Job Mate on pole position with Poppy 1195 alongside him on the front row, with Tolop 012 in P3, Tristan in P4, Phil Donald and Tom Taylor sharing the third grid row. MF Underboss. Actually, it's a great performance for MF Underboss and McLaren in general. A P3 and a P7 for MF Underboss in the McLaren. Scruff in P8. The United 199. P2 in the Drivers' Championship right now in P9. And MOC's P3 in the Drivers' Championship is in P10. See, all three of those drivers, Scruff, United 199 and MOC, are neck and neck battling for P2. P3 even. Maybe even P2. They are battling for P2 in the Drivers' Championship. It's interesting to see that all three drivers are kind of in the middle of the pack. We have JKS Racing in P11, Infamous AIM in P12, and Gooders in P13, Steph on the wheel in P14, and the two Alpines of Pudnick and his teammate, and I believe it's a new driver for VFL. It's a reserve driver for VFL. Didn't quite catch his PSN ID, but I will quickly scroll over to it. But they're actually side by side in 15 and 16, sharing a grid row as well. And then to round it up, we have Pantalon UK representing Team Red Bull in P17 with a 105.880, and unfortunately we do have Justino, who I believe will be pinged all the way up into P10, so that will knock MOC down to P11, and so on and so forth for the rest of the grid. So I'm not too sure exactly what's happening right now. However, I believe, yeah, we're using a custom grid for the sprint, and we are going to actually leave the session and do a new lobby. So everyone has been told to leave the session. There's going to be a red flag so that Justino is able to race, and Dino will be placed in P10, which is a very interesting kind of qualifying setup. I've never seen that. Oh, apparently 19 people, including 9 children, have been killed in a New York apartment fire. That's heartbreaking. Ladies and gentlemen, maybe we can be silent for the next 25 seconds in memory of those 19 people. That's about 25 seconds. See, Stefan's popping up in the chat right now telling me to look at Discord and notify everyone that we're restarting the race. Obviously, he hasn't been watching the commentary because I've been saying anything but, or nothing but, that exact thing as Dark Inferno corrects him. Thank you, Adam Kessels. His IP address, by the way, ladies and gentlemen, is... See, you'll never find out, but I know. Ladies and gentlemen, I know. F1 2021, car setup full equal. I think I have actually got a, I do. Oh no, that's IKR. Why did I call it IKR? There is something special with me, isn't there? IKR is in Inside Curb Racing, and that is a league which is pretty much all but dead. Assist restrictions, is this correct? No, it's completely not. We need to turn all of these off. I think braking assist is off as well. Dark can let me know in the chat. Weather and time of day. We're only doing, by the way, first of all, we need to go into weekend structure, and we need to turn off one shot, and we need to make the session length short. And then starting grid, we can do that in a minute. Weather and time of day, clear, dry. We don't want it on dynamic, ladies and gentlemen. We don't want it wet. 75, I believe, for the AI difficulty. Car damage rate is reduced. Low fuel mode on hard. Everything else is the same. Rules and flags. Strict. Part ferme on. Even though technically the drivers, if they really do want to cheat, could if they want to select a different setup. But that's not very nice. Ladies and gentlemen, we don't condone such cheating in this league. Oh yeah, that's what I've got to do. I've got to go into weekend structure, and bear with me, I'm going to actually mute myself with this. It takes 2 hands. I'm going to have to go on the custom grid and make it, but first I'm going to have to invite everybody. Ghosting off, says Tristan. Hang on, custom. Yes, I know, Tristan. Shh, shh, shh. It's going crazy. No. I know that he's just looking out for the league. Ghosting should be off. I wish that ghosting was on, though. I really do. Right, we're just going to invite everybody. They're all in the same group called VFL Tier 2, all 31 of them. I'm going to send the one invite out, and I'm going to wait for them to funnel in. I can't make the custom grid till we got every driver, because that's just how it works. So I'm going to have to wait for every single driver to join. I don't think Steph's in that VFL Tier 2 group, so I'm going to invite him separately, actually. Oh no. What am I talking about? He's joined. Has he? Yeah, he has. You overwrite reset. At admin, should we get rid of sprint? Steph. Discussing whether we should get rid of sprint. All of you watching in the YouTube comments, I can read every comment that you post. Flashes up on the top right hand corner of my screen. It would be really interesting if you could discuss right now. Do you think that we should get rid of the sprint race, or do you think it's a good addition? I'm going to quickly sort out the grid and you guys chat in the comments. Well, ladies and gentlemen, hopefully that is the correct grid, and I think we're ready to start. I haven't bothered double checking it, and if it isn't right, then that isn't good. Dino is P10, I know, I've put him in P10. Hang on. Real quick question to everybody, what about the gentleman who couldn't join? I guess we are starting, but what about Lem1 KSS? If Dino has been moved to P10, shouldn't Lem1 KSS also be moved up to P10? Because they were both in the same situation, they couldn't participate in qualifying. But I guess it's too late to argue it, ladies and gentlemen, because the race has started. Dark Inferno thinks it's a good idea, but I think he messaged that a little bit too late, and unfortunately the time of day is like in the morning or something. I think I forgot to put the time of day as the official one. But I tell you what, it is a sprint race after all, and they're usually done in the evening of the Saturday. So this is a really good kind of thematic setting, kind of makes it nice and interesting. And almost like we're doing a real sprint race in Austria. I like how I asked everyone to discuss whether they want a sprint race or not, and the Justino fans were quiet for the first time all race weekend when I asked them to talk. Now that was upsetting. Now, ladies and gentlemen, if you're just joining in to us, welcome to Tier 2 of the Virtual Formula League. This is round 6 in Austria. We've just had an explosive 18-minute qualifying session that saw Nice Job Mate with Poppy 1195 alongside him on the front row. And you're just about to tune in to the sprint race. We had to restart the lobby, so apologies for the delays. But don't worry, because the sprint race is about to be underway. I don't think we do have a formation lap, and we don't. Ladies and gentlemen, the Austrian Grand Prix is underway, and it's a pretty good start from Poppy 1195. He's actually alongside Nice Job Mate right now. Will he stick a nose up into turn 1? And he does. But Nice Job Mate's having none of it, and he sticks to his outside line. Poppy 1195 somehow doesn't DNF, but Tristan's been able to squeeze down on the inside. But Poppy 1195 has now got the inside line into turn 3, and he does it incredibly well. Scruff gets a 3-second time for exceeding track limits. Not too sure if that will be addressed. And if it is, then that's easy because we can just do the grid for the main race. Tollop and MOC LFC in front are going side by side into turn 4. Tollop goes incredibly deep. MOC goes back on him, and there's contact between the two drivers. I'm sticking on with United 199 because it gives me a perfect angle as to what's happening between Scruff and United 99 as well. Scruff and United 199 go side by side through turn 6, I believe that was. It doesn't matter. It's now Scruff in 7. And Tom Taylor all the way up into P4. Incredible start for Tom Taylor. He wasn't lying when he said that he's good at race starts. Tom Taylor, Tristan, 1195, and Nice Job Mate, obviously in P1. As we go down the grid, it's quite not a lot of action. However, we do have a LEM1 KSS, the new reserve in his VFL debut, who unfortunately missed qualifying, trying to make a move on Putnik. Steph on the wheel in P12, and my kind of MFD's kind of glitched out a little bit, but it doesn't matter too much. Emma Thunderboss is going for a new wing change, and so is Phil Donald. And Nice Job Mate, I've just noticed. Oh, that's a glitch, ladies and gentlemen. I was about to say he's in P19, but he isn't. The game's glitched out, but Gooders definitely is all the way down. Really low down, and Justino, I'm not too sure where he is, about P15, but the game's completely glitched out and said that Nice Job Mate is in P18, but obviously he isn't. He's leading the race just behind Tristan, Tom Taylor, MOC. Tom Taylor is getting incredibly close to Tristan, in fact. Big gap between Tom Taylor and MOC, and then United 199, Scruff, Tollop, Infamous Aim, and there's an incident. LEM1 KSS has unfortunately spun right round. Let's see if he's able to rejoin the track safely and let the two drivers through, and he is. But yeah, LEM1 KSS, not a very good VFL debut start for him as he spun around during the middle sector. Let's see if he's able to catch the car with his hot tyres, and he is. Luckily he doesn't spin around once again. But all eyes right now are on Tom Taylor, eyeing up Tristan into the big hairpin of turn 3, one of the best overtaken zones here in Austria. But it isn't good enough for Tom Taylor. He isn't able to overtake Tristan, and I think a bit of a DRS train is actually forming. But fortunately, MOC is outside of that DRS train, 1.3 seconds behind Tom Taylor. He isn't able to get DRS, but then again, United 99 isn't able to catch up to MOC either. It was a bit of a squirrely exit outside of turn 4 for Tristan. Tom Taylor is all over the back of him, but it ain't enough. He's still not able to make that move stick. But Tom Taylor, in fact Tristan, is now over a second behind 1195, meaning he won't get DRS on the start-finish line, and that could be fatal for Tristan. That is what will allow Tom Taylor to hopefully overtake him, as MF Underboss DNFs from the race. Absolutely heartbreaking performance for him. And I believe he'll be starting from the grid, as Justino as well is actually in 15, but the game's completely glitched out. Either that, or he's actually a back marker, but I'm pretty sure he isn't. He's kind of lagging all over the right now, and he kind of hits into Long UK, I believe. Going through turn 8 and 9. He's actually AI. I'm not too sure if he's lagged out, but ladies and gentlemen, that doesn't matter. Taylor, I believe he made an overtake on 11.95 just before turn 3, but it isn't enough. Tristan, what am I talking about, ladies and gentlemen? Tristan and Tom Taylor were battling a bit into the hairpin of turn 3, but Tristan reclaims his P3 lead over Tom Taylor. He's really struggling to get past Tristan, and Tristan doesn't have DRS, so it's interesting to see as we quickly load up all of these statistics like ERS usage and such. As you can see, Tristan with a load of ERS, much more than Tom Taylor. See, I'm very confused as to why Tom Taylor isn't able to make the overtake when Tristan doesn't have DRS. Very interesting indeed. Even so, not much of a drama going down the rest of the pack. I think all eyes right now are on Tom Taylor, trying his best to overtake Tristan into the hairpin of turn 3. Can he make it stick, or will exactly what happened last lap happen once again? We are on the final lap of the race, ladies and gentlemen, and even though it doesn't show up on the MFD, Poppy 11.95 has overtaken Nice Job Mate 4.1, but that doesn't matter. Nice Job Mate is now overtaken Poppy 11.95 into P4, and that was an absolute textbook overtake on round the outside of turn 4 even, and that's Nice Job Mate retaining his provisional pole, most likely into the end of the sprint race, and will retain his pole position into the main race. We have Nice Job Mate on pole position for the race. Probably 11.95 in P2, no changes there. But we do have a change right here. Tom Taylor overtakes Tristan and overtakes three other drivers as well, actually. That's a great result for Tom Taylor as he DNFs over the line. MOC LFC, great start for him as well. 6 positions he made up over the course of that sprint race. Sprint races are a great thing, says Steph1210, Nick and Lem1KSS, who all made up a significant amount of positions. I don't think Mercedes will like that very much. I mean, Nice Job Mate, of course, is glitched out. It says he's lost 16 positions, but he hasn't. He's in P1. But Phil Donald will definitely be thinking that, because, I mean, unfortunately, he has legitimately finished the race in P15. And Justino, I believe that he was, must have DNF from the race, but fortunately for Justino, that's a P18 finish. And MF Underboss, the most heartbreaking result of all, he started in P8, I believe. And he's all the way down into P19. Absolutely heartbreaking for MF Underboss. I don't know what happened at the start of the thing. Apparently Justino's on lap 3 or something, and it's completely glitched out. Nice Job Mate's also on lap 3 according to this game. So I actually have no idea what position Justino actually was in, because the game has decided to tell me off and have a bit of a strop. But I think that is Nice Job Mate on provisional pole for the race. But yeah, heartbreaking result for MF Underboss. Like I was saying, I don't know what quite happened at the start of that race, but I saw a lot of drivers like Phil Donald and MF Underboss pit for new wings. So there must have been a bit of carnage between the back of the drivers at the back of the grid. But yeah, that was quite an exciting sprint race, ladies and gentlemen, as we set up for the main race. Yeah, Nice Job Mate did win the race, as I'm being notified. But yeah, that was a great kind of sprint race. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, I'm quickly going to go to the FIA. We're going to go for another live FIA because Scruff received a 3-second time penalty, as you will notice during the race, and he was much higher position, but he received a 3-second time penalty for kind of going wide, and I believe Dark Inferno has already determined that Scruff's 3-second time penalty is going to be removed. Yeah, so he will be in B12. That puts Jungblufsen into P13. Wow, unfortunately, I didn't realise that Scuff actually lost positions. Unfortunately, during the sprint race, but apparently he did. And this session's completely glitched for me. It doesn't even let me tab over to Nice Job Mate and Emma Thunderboss. The session's completely glitched out, ladies and gentlemen. We are going to have to leave and restart. Apologies for all of these technical difficulties and these inconveniences. It's been an absolute nightmare today, F1 2021. First with Dino not being able to race, and now with us having to restart the session because it's all glitched out. I mean, I'm not sitting in that session forever. That really did look like it would just be an eternal cycle of torment. And I'm sure it will take no time at all to load. Apparently it's L2 to load. Who made that a thing? I don't know. And weekend structure will be long, and we'll do the weather in a minute. I just need to invite everybody, make me spectator, invite VFL Tier 2, and we're all good. Go over to settings, weekend structure, custom grid editor, we can do that in a minute. I actually meant to go over to weather and time of day, because we need to customise the weather, because it's obviously light rain into overcast for this race, whilst I wait for all the drivers to join. And I'm going to go now and wait for the drivers to join, and I'll be back for more commentary once we're into the lobby. Ladies and gentlemen, we're all good. Just quickly going to message the chat and tell everybody to ready up. But, yeah, we're all good to go. Bit of trash talk going on in the Alfa Romeo group chat right now, as I'm the team principal for Alfa Romeo. Bit of drama between the two Alpha boys for Tier 2, Tom Taylor and Scruff. We're going to pull a bit of a mastermind strategy as the Alfa Romeo team. I assure you, ladies and gentlemen, that Alfa Romeo will shock you today, and we will get some incredible results. But let's quickly, whilst we wait for a minute for everyone to configure their strategies, and for those using the Sick Boy Super strategy, by the way, make sure that you change the wings to 8-8. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, welcome. If you obviously are only just tuning in, as I see our viewer numbers slowly decline from 20 all the way down to 11. Ladies and gentlemen, you should be tuning in because it's finally time for our race. We've got 30 more seconds until the game starts. And it's a wet race. It's going to be intermediate conditions until the last about 25% of the race. So it's going to be intermediate conditions until around lap 28 to 30, when it's going to start turning dry. And this is going to be a banger, and it is going to be decided on luck alone. I've done the calculations already, and I'm sure that half of the drivers will want to push a single set of intermediate tyres right until it turns bone dry and then go on softs, whilst other drivers will do what the game recommends you to and pit for a fresh set of inters. And this is really where the luck factor comes in. If the rain stops before lap 30, those who haven't pit will win by 13 seconds, because those who have pit will not be able to gain a 26-second lead that they've lost due to being the only one who's pit. And they'll have to obviously pit a second time to go on the softs. So then those who decide to go into soft lose. It's as simple as that. So you're probably thinking, well, obviously the best solution is to go on the one-stop strategy. But I actually tried that myself. And the rain stopped on my single-player Grand Prix session on lap 33. Because my intermediate tyres had been going for 33 laps. I got a puncture, and I was forced to pit for softs when the track hadn't even dried yet. So the rain had stopped, but the track wasn't dried. I was on soft tyres, and I forgot the formation lap. I'm so sorry, ladies and gentlemen. I guess the race is going to start straight away. So sorry, but I forgot to add the formation lap in. I'm sure these drivers don't care though, as Tristan goes for a dangerous move around the outside of 1195 on turn 1. And it's not enough. 95 sticks with his racing line. As you can see, the game's recommending a 3-stop strategy. Imagine that. MOC gets a 5-second time penalty for a severe collision. That's absolutely incredible, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, Scruff just goes into the back of Tristan. It's absolute carnage. Steph's completely spun around. Steph's in the wall. He's lost his wing and everything. Carnage for Steph. There's absolute carnage. They're 3 wide heading into turn 4 right now between Lem 1 KSS and Infamous Aim, and it's the inside, in fact it's the outside line that's good. Infamous Aim gets a much better traction and ends up overtaking the Red Bull. A lot of these drivers are all over the place. The rear wing is kind of just all over the shot right now. Justino loses out once again, and Gooders has actually binned it around the middle sector. He's in P19. Justino's not got a good start. Phil Donald hasn't, and MOC was actually right the way up. I believe he started around P7. Now he's all the way down into P16 with a 5-second time penalty for a severe collision with Jung Blutfenson. And he does overtake. In fact, it's the Alp of JNGBIVTSON. I'm just going to refer to him as JNG from now on. He's in the pits and gets a 5-second time for speeding in the pit lane. Steph's also in the pits, and there's a bit of drama right now between JKS, Infamous Aim and Tollop. They're all battling for P6, heading into the hairpin of turn 3, and it's JKS who wins that battle. But hang on, Scruff and LMK is also, who apparently is in P19. It's absolute carnage right now. They've both stuck their wings up the inside of turn 3, and honestly, the game's kind of glitched out. It says that LEM is in P19. I don't know what's going on right now, everybody, but it doesn't matter. Scruff has just overtaken Tolop. Steph's all the way down into P19 apparently. Man, this game has really got a thing of its own. Pudnick on the inside through turn 5 of Tolopo 12, and he takes the P10 position, but Tolop is coming back at him. Oh, he does yield, which is very good from Tolop. You don't want to be going side by side through turn 8 and 9. Even so, it's kind of calmed down right now, ladies and gentlemen. We have Nice Job Mate in P1 and Poppy 1195 in P2, Tom Taylor 07 in P3 and Tristan in P4. There's a large gap between most of the drivers. It's actually quite tight around this little, could you call it a DRS train? Slipstream train. Obviously DRS is not activated. And I think this is going to be a banger of a race, ladies and gentlemen. I have no idea who's going to win this one, because like I said, not only have you got the two alternate strategies, and either one will lead in a catastrophic failure. Pudnick's just been turned around turn 3. It's all the way down into P13 now. Heartbreak for Pudnick. But what I'm saying is that these interconditions mean that any of the drivers like Nice Job Mate could just spin out on their own accord. But there's a bit of a battle forming right now. 4P3 between Tristan and Tom Taylor. Tristan only 0.2 of a second behind Tom Taylor. Tom Taylor gets a exit from turn 6 onto turn 7. He's all over the curbs on the inside of turn 7. And that means Tristan's able to get even closer to him. They're about 3.5 of a second. Separate the two drivers as they go onto the start-finish straight. Poppy 95 sets the fastest lap, so I would not count him out of winning this race, despite there being a massive gap, 3.4 seconds between Poppy 1195 and Tom Taylor. Tristan's all over the on the exit turn 1, and that has allowed Tom Taylor to pull out a sizable gap. Talking about turn 1, we have MOC LFC and Pantalon UK. Pantalon UK went around the outside of MOC, broke much later into turn 1, and he's taken 12. Excellent drive. Now, LEM 1KSS completely glitched out. In reality, he's in 8, ladies and gentlemen. And he's going for a move on the infamous aim on the inside of turn 4, and he sticks it, ladies and gentlemen. LEM 1KSS on his debut VFL race is now in P6. Great driving as we pan over to see the position changes. And MF Underboss, I forgot about him, ladies and gentlemen. Made up 7 positions already. Apologise for not following this. We'll follow MF Underboss for the next couple of laps. I remember he DNF'd in qualifying, and he started all the way in P19. He's all the way up to P8 right now. That was aided by the fact that Steph's had to pit and Gooders has had to pit. But it doesn't matter. I think that's all down to good driving for MF Underboss. Great driving for him. Unfortunately, his McLaren teammate has lost 3 positions during this race. But it doesn't matter. Let's see if MF Underboss is going to go for a move into turn 3 on Infamous Aim. Unfortunately, he doesn't. And Infamous Aim's really squirrely on the exit turn 3, and so is MF Underboss. In fact, he's lost it almost entirely, and he's lost a position to Scruff, he's lost a position to Tolop, he's now in P10, and he's lucky to have not lost his wing, is MF Underboss. He completely lost it on the exit of turn 3, and just Dino to continue his heartbreak, and it's a full course safety car after an incident with Just Dino, who has DNF'd. Let's pan over to him. He's actually DNF'd around the middle sector, and that's why the safety car's been called. Let's see where his car is. Oh yeah, of course the safety car has been called. Justino's car is perpendicular to the racing line, and no drivers are pitting for an interesting reason, in the fact that maybe they're going for the one stop, and I'll talk about strategy in a minute. But first of all, I would just like to talk about the fact that Justino, it seems to me like he's had the weekend from hell. I hate to see it. He was booted out of qualifying, he was booted out of the sprint race, and he's DNF'd in the main race, and he was really looking forward to this race in Austria, and it's just been heartbreak for him. So I really do feel sorry for Justino. But MOC LFC This was the gentleman who picked up a 5-second time penalty at the very beginning of the race for a severe collision with J&G. And being very clever, actually, he's decided to serve his 5-second time penalty under safety car, when really it kind of turns into a 2 or a 3-second time penalty. But he served it nonetheless, and he's actually come out behind J&G in P15. However, yeah, this is a really interesting kind of situation with the full course safety car. Obviously, tyre wear will be reduced under the safety car because these drivers are driving at 40% speed. And what's interesting is the fact that the one-stop strategy, sticking with these intermediate tyres until the rain dries up around lap 30, is going to seem like the most obvious option. Because pitting right now, I mean, the tyres will last, without a doubt, without even getting a puncture now, until around lap 30 or 33, or at least until the rain dries up. So we can kind of throw away all idea or speculation of a possible two-stop strategy in which the drivers pit for another set of intermediates. Yeah, what can I say, ladies and gentlemen? It is going to be the one-stop. I can almost guarantee, hang on a minute, J&G has DNF'd under the safety car, and his carcass has been left in the middle of the track. I think he's just hit into, I mean, Steph leaves the pit. I'm not too sure who he hit into. I know that MF Underboss lost a couple of positions just a minute ago. Heartbreak for MF Underboss. He was all the way up into P8. Now he's all the way down into P12. I'm not too sure if J&G was the driver who hit into MF Underboss, but I did see that he lost a couple of positions under safety car. But that's crazy. I'm not too sure if it was a snap oversteer. But on his VFL debut, J&G has DNF'd. But a driver who's also on his VFL debut is Lem1 KSS. I'm going to refer to him as LEM from now on. He's all the way up into P7. I know that the game says that he's one lap down, but let's ignore that, shall we? He's all the way up into P7, and that is a really good drive for LEM. Safety car in this lap, and the two drivers who I'm watching, ladies and gentlemen, Poppy1195 and Nice Job Mate. You see, Nice Job Mate kind of had this win in the bag, and the safety car was the last thing that Nice Job Mate wanted. Now Poppy is right on his tail, and Nice Job Mate gets a decent exit from the final corner, but I'm not too sure. MF Underboss, by the way, pits for a fresh wing. That's unfortunate, and Tristan extremely slow on the safety car start. In fact, he's lost 2 positions to Infamous Aim and Scruff. He's all the way down into P8 now, and LEM is all the way up into P5. I can't tab over to him, but he is all the way up into P5. JKS gets a 5-second time penalty for ignoring yellow flags. I'm not too sure what happened, but I'm sure that will be removed since it isn't contact under the safety car. And it says for me that Steph is all the way down into P18, but it's another glitch, ladies and gentlemen. He's in P14. Steph's an experienced driver. Let's quickly follow in. There isn't much drama happening between Pop and Nice Job Mate. Seems like it's tough to overtake in these difficult conditions. Meanwhile, we've literally got a traffic jam happening down in this pack. You know, so tight are the drivers. And Tollop, first driver to make an overtake this lap, I believe. He overtakes Tristan, but it's because Tristan has wing damage. That's why he had such a bad restart, and he's trundling down the order, and half of the pack have already overtaken him. He's going as slow as anything. That was a dangerous move for MOC. He was desperate to get past Tristan, and so is Steph. All the drivers now are past Tristan, but yeah, he's got wing damage, he's going to have to pit for a new wing. It goes way off on the exit of turn 8. Really does go all over the Austrian flag. And rejoins. He doesn't actually lose a position, but I'm sure he would have gotten a warning for that. Man, the cars are so tight. There's a 0.8 of a second gap between P1 and P2. We're not bothered about that. We're bothered about the overtake that Phil Donald has just made on Pudnik. He got a much superior exit. Had so much grip compared to Pudnik. And MOC's gone for a move on Pudnik right on the inside of turn 3. Brakes so late into turn 3. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is how you brake late into turn 3. No contact, late on the brakes, he stops in time, and he makes cakewalk out of overtaking Pudnik there for 11. It dives on the inside of MOC, but goes way too deep. In fact, that's cost him the position between him and Steph. I'm sure that Steph will overtake him, and he has. He has overtaken him for P12, but yeah, heartbreak for Pudnik. He tried to go on the inside of turn 4, try and overtake MOC, but he went a bit too deep on the inside, a bit too late on the brakes, and that has cost him dearly. Now let's see who any other drivers that are neck and neck. We have MOC and Pantalon UK battling for P10. Now this is going to be a fascinating battle. That traffic jam I was talking about before, as Pudnick enters the pits, yeah, not so much anymore. Drivers are spread out a little bit. And MOC tries to go for a move on Pantalon UK. He can't overtake him through turn 1, but he gets a far superior exit on Pantalon UK. And it seems like that overtake has been done and dusted, but Steph is going to be going for a move on Pantalon UK, and he does. And MOC's gone incredibly late on the brakes. He's gone way too deep through turn 3. He's all the way on the blue. And Pantalon UK's just binned it. Ladies and gentlemen, Pantalon UK gets a massive snap of oversteer outside of turn 3. And he's just binned it. I can't believe that. My mic was a bit too close there. I may have been a bit too loud. I do apologise for that. But yeah, Pantalon UK has binned it on the exit turn 3. And that's his race pretty much over. He's struggling to rejoin the track, and he must have damaged his wing. He's going to have to pit now. But yeah, crazy double overtake for Steph around turn 3. Brilliant move. But that was all due to MOC braking incredibly late. And I'm not too sure if the game's glitched out, but it says that we've got yellow flags around sector 1, 2 and 3. And honestly, this game's just been glitchy as anything the last couple of days. Well, today in particular, all 3 sessions are glitched out. I'm not too sure if it's kind of me, and because my game's been glitchy recently. I'm not too sure, but they do say that there are 3 sets of yellow flags. We'll see if the drivers are able to overtake. And we will see an overtake, surely. Ah, apparently not. As Scruff goes incredibly deep around turn 3. MOC was trying to give place back to Pantalon. Ah, thank you, Ben Fleming. Yeah, the entire track's yellow flagged. And that's unfortunate. We had this glitch in Italy, if you remember, ladies and gentlemen, all the way back into Season 1. We actually had to restart the race a whole week later because the game was entirely glitched out. We had yellow flags on every sector for the entire race as Tulip gets a 3-second time penalty. I think the game's glitched out once again. The exact same glitch. Especially with it pretending that Steph's in P17 and LEM's in P19. I really don't know what's happened, ladies and gentlemen. We may even have to restart the race, but yeah. The reason why MOC went so deep is he tried to give the place back to Pantalon UK. Pantalon UK oversteered like crazy around turn 3. Ben Fleming's calling a restart. You see, the only person who can officially call a restart is the big cheese himself, Dark Inferno, and I'm sure he's watching. I'm sure he's watching the race. So it'll be very interesting to see whether Dark Inferno calls for a restart, but the race can't continue like this, ladies and gentlemen, and we want to do the restart soon. It's getting late, it's already 9:15. Normally the race is oh yeah, Dark Inferno, is he going to go for a restart? I think he is. But yeah, I was just about to say, the race is normally finished by now. 9:15 ain't too late for us in the UK, but for all of you ladies and gentlemen that are in Eastern Europe, you're about 10:15, maybe even 11:15 for some of you, and it's getting really, really late for the race. So yeah, I think we are going to restart. Dark Inferno is talking with the admins right now, and I think we're going to go for a race restart, which is going to be incredible for J&G and Just Dino. But if we do a race restart, I believe we're going to red flag the race. Just a suggestion, considering we're almost halfway through the race. We could go for a 25% race that goes from inters to cloudy conditions, and we will use the grid order from before the yellow flag glitch started. I believe that was about lap 11, and we're going to go for a 25% race restart. That's my suggestion, at least. That's obviously not confirmed, but I do think it's too late to go for a full 50% restart for those living in Europe. Yeah, you see, Connor Kid is calling for a restart. Yeah, we really do have to restart. I know that Dark Inferno is watching this. Yeah, it's not too late to go for a restart. I do think a 25% race is the idea, and we'll obviously take the custom grids from what it is right now, as in what it was in lap 11. So I think we are going to go for the restart, despite the incredible drama happening right now with Tom Taylor losing a couple positions. He will be in P3. All Dark has to do is just say yes, and we'll restart the race. Restart from original good position. I don't think that's happening, Ben Fleming. Unfortunately, it's. I understand that you want it a restart, but it's unfair. It's completely unfair for certain drivers who have raced really well, like Scruff, for example. It's unfair for Phil Donald, even an MF Underboss, to restart right from the very beginning. So I don't think we're going to do that. I think we're going to go for a 25% restart. But all Dark has to do, to be honest, I think I'm going to have to take matters into my own hands. I think we're going to go for the 25% restart. If I don't hear anything from the admins, because a lot of the admins aren't thingy, Dark said normally the race is over. The problem is, I'm just going to quickly leave and invite everybody. Once again, if we are going to go for a 25% restart, I mean, it's an infinite yellow flag glitch. We can't keep on racing. I mean, Dark's calling for the race to be postponed. I'm going to put it into the general chat. Yeah, so I'm just putting it to a vote, and the majority of people already have voted. 7 people have voted for a 25% restart using your current positions, but a lot of people are postponing the race for next week, so yeah, unfortunately it's typical F1 being broken. I'm not going to host this one because I think my game's glitched, and yeah, it will be. Hey, it's Luke here saying stop pinging me. Unfortunately, Luke, we kind of have to. Dark Inferno saying that he wants a next week. I mean, a lot of drivers want... Surely it's a democracy. But a lot of drivers want a 25% race, and I think personally it's unfair for the ladies and gentlemen who had a good race today. 12 people so far have voted for the race to be restarted. I mean, 12 people have voted. But unfortunately a lot of drivers won't be able to race, so... Okay. Yeah, problem is, a lot of people are saying that they have to race. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to set up the lobby. I'm going to make sure I'm not host either. I'm going to leave as host just before and then let somebody invite me, because it seems to be me being host that glitches everything out. And I'm going to see how many people could join. And if not many people can join, then we will postpone the race, like if we only get like 10 players or whatever. But if a lot of people are able to race, then I think we could do the 25% race. And if we can't, then we could do the 25% race and just see. Unfortunately, only 10 drivers so far joined in, so... Yeah, I mean, a lot of people are making good arguments. A lot of people say that they can't race. Then Phil Donald makes an argument, which I agree, is that if we don't do some sort of a race, then tonight has just been a complete waste of time. So yeah, I do apologise for this, ladies and gentlemen. It's not my fault. It's not anybody's fault. It's Codemaster's fault for making this game incredibly glitchy, if you want to blame anybody. But it can't really be helped, unfortunately. Glitches like this happened in Season 1, they've happened in other leagues, and every single league that I've really been part of, I think one of the races has had to be restarted somewhere down the line. This is exactly what happened in Season 1 with the Italy race, that we had to completely restart, and I wasn't happy about that because I won the race and then I ended up coming P2 in the second weekend. But I mean, it's just kind of things that happen. My game has actually been a bit glitched out recently, and my game kind of has been glitching out, so I'm going to make sure I'm not the host for next week, because I think I'm the reason why the lobby is completely bugged. But yeah, the lobby was bugged from the start, and all 3 lobbies have been bugged, and we've had to restart after every single session, so I'll make sure that Steph's the host next week. But yeah, a lot of people can't join. Yeah, that is, it's heartbreaking. It really is. I was looking forward to this race for a very, very long time, and I know that a lot of drivers were. But it's especially heartbreaking for the gentlemen who were doing really well and have been practicing a lot. So yeah, it is official, ladies and gentlemen, that half points will be awarded to those who have raced today. So that is the conclusion, ladies and gentlemen. Whether you like it or not, the race is postponed until next week, where the entire race will be restarted. I'm not too sure if we'll do a sprint race, because in all honesty it takes a bit too long, it's a bit weird, it's a bit funky. Not too sure if you agree, but it really does delay the race by quite a bit. Unfortunately, drivers are only just funneling through, but we're not going to be starting the race because Dark Inferno has just announced that the race will be postponed. And yeah, even though the vote was for the race to go ahead, of course it's Dark Inferno's league, so it's his decision. So I wouldn't be too frustrated, but it's okay. I wouldn't worry. But yeah, I think it's a good kind of solution. The half points. And I think for a lot of people, a lot of people weren't able to race, and a lot of people feel like they've wasted their time. So that's kind of the conclusion of the race, ladies and gentlemen, whether you like it or not. It's heartbreaking, I know, but due to the game glitching out, I mean, what was the other solution? That we just raced the rest of the race under infinite yellow flags, and we just watched a procession with no overtaking for 20 minutes. It's not possible. So yeah, the race is postponed. It's not VFL's fault, it's the game's fault. These glitches happened in Season 1. These glitches have happened in most of the leagues that I'm part of at least once. Except the admins are tougher and they just say, I don't care. It's very unfair as well for the gentleman who couldn't race the second time. It's easy to say, oh yeah, the people who voted for the race to be restarted won, but ultimately a lot of drivers, you got to think it's a Sunday night. A lot of our drivers are younger. A lot of drivers are under 16 years old and they're at school, and they've got an early morning tomorrow morning, and they can't just wake up or go to bed whenever they want to, and they have to come off the PlayStation by a certain time. So I do actually think that delaying the race by a week is good. And look how many drivers we lost. We lost about 5-6 drivers, and it's completely unfair. What did they get? 0 points? So the solution is we've given half points to all of the people who have decided to join. So half points to everybody, and I hope you all enjoy. So goodbye.